Hi everyone, Hamish here from the Uplay team at Massive Entertainment. Now, today we're going to be taking a little bit of a closer look at the evolution of storage technology, all the way from those clumsy mechanical hard drives up to the SSDs that we know and love today. And what better way to celebrate that than with a giveaway? So thanks to our friends over at Samsung, we're going to be comparing the 850 we have in our PC right now with the 860 EVO. And you know what? We're going to be giving one of these away to the lucky winner. But if that's not enough for you, we've also got this 970 EVO M.2 drive to sweeten the deal as well. So stick around to find out how you can get your hands on those. Now, the first drive sold commercially was in 1956 by IBM, which is like 3 decades before I was even born. It was comparable to about the size of 2 refrigerators and had a capacity of only 5 megabytes.
Presenting RAMAC, Random Access Method of Accounting and Control. Another business service of tomorrow made possible today by IBM.
Now you compare that to this 500 gig SSD, quick math, that's 500,000 times more data in the palm of my hand. Now, if we fast forward a little bit to the 80s, as the demand for home computing starts to increase, Seagate manages to shrink that 5 megabyte capacity down to a 5¼ inch hard drive space. Then, throughout the 90s, as we see a bunch of technological advances being made, IBM manages to serve up 340 megabytes on a 1-inch platter. And this is where we start seeing hard drives that are a bit more familiar to what we see today. Then the assumption would be that we move to more of the SSD technology, but actually, the first SSD was released about 40 years ago. I mean, back then those SSDs looked more like a bulky server compared to these little guys, so we've certainly come a long way. Now, even though we technically had SSDs back then, there were some problems. For example, those drives would lose data pretty quickly when shut off from power. Today, the average SSD has a read and write speed of around 500 megs per second, but comparing that to the new kid on the block, the M.2 drive, we see read speeds of about 3,400 and then write speeds at about 2,300. Compare that to a mechanical drive with around 100, 150, and you can see just how big that leap forward is. It is my personal opinion that upgrading from a mechanical drive to an SSD is one of the best upgrades you can do for your machine. I mean, I still remember when I did it on my home rig and the difference was night and day. But there are a few things to note when you're buying an SSD. Obviously, there's the benefit that there's no moving parts, so they're a lot lighter. And even though LAN parties may be a thing of the past, you're still going to lug your PC around at some point. The other key benefit is that they're also basically silent compared to mechanical hard drives. And though, while we may kid ourselves sometimes that whirring hard drives and beeping modems is something that we miss, come on. The only real downside to an SSD is that they're not great for archiving. I mean, if you unplug it for literally years, it might lose some of that data. There are, of course, the benefits to battery life for portable devices since, you're not powering any moving parts. And the big one is performance. And while that does come at a bit of a cost premium, compared to mechanical drives, that gap is getting smaller. So as I mentioned, our current PC actually has a Samsung 850 in it. And if you want to see that whole build, I'll leave a link up there for you. But what I really want to do is do a quick test to see how that 850 compares with the 860 we're about to give away. So we're going to use Crystal Disk Mark to see exactly how this performs. Switch up the language because I don't understand what's going on. And then let's take a quick look. So once you've given that about 10 minutes, you can actually see that our sequential read and write is about 545 and 525 for the 850. You can see our other random reads and writes, and you can save out that text file and have a look at the IOPS, but I'll let other people explain that much better than I can. There's a video that I really like from Paul's Hardware on this subject called How to Benchmark an SSD, so go and check that one out. Now, time to plug in the 860. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've plugged in the 860 EVO as well as formatted it, so we can go ahead and run Crystal Disk Mark on it. Let's set it to the appropriate drive and hit go. Alright, we'll see you in just a sec. So there's definitely an improvement on the sequential read and write speeds of the 860 EVO compared to the 850, but there's a lot to unpack here. So if you want to find out what all of these numbers really mean, you'll want to check out this really good article over on Tom's Hardware, and I'll leave a link down in the description below so you can find that. Now that's going to be all for today, but I know a lot of you are wondering who won last month's giveaway of the Uplay PC Games bundle. We've written out those winners in the description box below, so scroll down and check to see if you were one of our lucky winners. And as you've probably already noticed if you've scrolled down, that there's a link to our next giveaway. The winner of said giveaway will receive an 860 EVO from Samsung, as well as the 970 EVO M.2 drive. So you can get your home PC all jacked up on some serious storage technologies. Thanks again everyone for dropping by. Good luck on the giveaway, and we'll see you all again real soon. Bye.